Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Hai Gaur Premanandi. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parijakacharya Astasto Shishimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parijakacharya Astasto Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की समवेद भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 29, Text 16, Explanation of Devotional Service. mad-dhiṣṇya-darśana-sparśa pūjā-stuti-abhivandanaiḥ bhūteṣu mad-bhāvanayā sattvena-saṅgamena ca mad-dhiṣṇya-darśana-sparśa pūjā-stuti-abhivandanaiḥ bhūteṣu mad-bhāvanayā sattvenāsaṅgamena ca mad-dhiṣṇya-darśana-sparśa pūjā-stuti-abhivandanaiḥ bhūteṣu mad-bhāvanayā sattvena-saṅgamena ca. Vaishnavis. Mat, my, Dishnya, statue, Darshana, seeing, Sparsha, touching, Puja, worshipping, Stuti, praying to, Abhivandanaiḥ, by offering obeisances, bhūteṣu, in all living entities, mat, of me, mad-bhāvanayā, with thought, sattvena, by the mode of goodness, asaṅgamena, with detachment, cha, and. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The devotee should regularly see my statues in the temple, touch my lotus feet, and offer worshipable paraphernalia and prayer. He should see in the spirit of renunciation and from the mode of goodness, and see every living entity as spiritual. Purport. Temple worship is one of the duties of a devotee. It is especially recommended for neophytes, but those who are advanced should not refrain from temple worship. There is a distinction in the manner a neophyte and an advanced devotee appreciate the Lord's presence in the temple. A neophyte considers the arcā-vigraha, the statue of the Lord, to be different from the original personality of Godhead. He considers it a representation of the Supreme Lord in the form of a deity. But an advanced devotee accepts the deity in the temple as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does not see any difference between the original form of the Lord and the statue or archa form of the Lord in the temple. This is the vision of a devotee whose devotional service is in the highest stage of bhāva or love of Godhead, whereas a neophyte's worship in the temple is a matter of routine duty. Temple deity worship is one of the functions of a devotee. He goes regularly to see the deity nicely decorated, and with veneration and respect, he touches the lotus feet of the Lord and presents offerings of worship such as fruits, flowers, and prayers. At the same time, to advance in devotional service, a devotee should see other living entities as spiritual sparks, parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. A devotee is to offer respect to every living entity that has a relationship with the Lord. Because every living entity originally has a relationship with the Lord as part and parcel, a devotee should try to see all living entities on the same equal level of spiritual existence. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, a Pandita, one who is learned, sees equally a very learned Brahmana, a Shudra, a hog, a dog, and a cow. He does not see the body, which is only an outward dress. He does not see the dress of a Brahmana or that of a cow or of a hog. He sees the spiritual spark, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. If a devotee does not see every living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, he is considered prakrita bhakta, a materialistic devotee. He is not completely situated on the spiritual platform. Rather, he is in the lowest stage of devotion. He does, however, show all respect to the deity. Although a devotee sees all living entities on the level of spiritual existence, he is not interested in associating with everyone. Simply because a tiger is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord does not mean that we embrace him because of his spiritual relationship with the Supreme Lord. We must associate only with persons who have developed Krishna consciousness. We should befriend and offer special respect to persons who are developed in Krishna consciousness. Other living entities are undoubtedly part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but because their consciousness is still covered and not developed in Krishna consciousness, we should renounce their association. It is said by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that even if one is a Vaishnava, if he is not of good character, his company should be avoided, although he may be offered the respect of a Vaishnava. Anyone who accepts Vishnu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is accepted as a Vaishnava. But a Vaishnava is expected to develop all the good qualities of the demigods. The exact meaning of the word sattvena is given by Sridhar Swami as being synonymous with dharyena or patience. One must perform devotional service with great patience. One should not give up the execution of devotional service because one or two attempts have not been successful. One must continue. Srila Rupa Goswami also confirms that one should be very enthusiastic and execute devotional service with patience and confidence. Patience is necessary for developing the confidence that Krishna will certainly accept me because I'm engaging in devotional service. One has only to execute service according to the rules and regulations to ensure success. Translation again. The devotee should regularly see my statues in the temple, touch my lotus feet, and offer worshipable paraphernalia and prayer. He should see in the spirit of renunciation from the mode of goodness and see every living entity as spiritual. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. You have to see that Krishna consciousness, bhakti yoga, is not something that we take on as a hobby or as a side activity, a side hustle, keeping our own material aspirations, our endeavors in the forefront. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us how we can set the right priorities in life, because we are always wanting success, we are always wanting happiness, and in our pursuits for happiness we prioritize certain activities which we think will bring us more joy and pleasure. But when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand what are the top activities for human being, for a civilized human society. And over here we are seeing, presented by Kapila Dev, the system for making advancement in self-realization, making advancement in perfecting our life. So bhakti yoga is not something that, it's not just any meditation practice that we do 5-10 minutes in a day and then off we go with our own life. But it's actually our career, it's our lifelong career that we have taken up. And just like with any career, with any education endeavor that we take up, we need to enroll in a program and have certain training, and read certain books, do certain experiments and procedures. Similarly, in the bhakti yoga process, we have to undergo training to make advancement, to come to the high level of spiritual consciousness where we can see, as we are reading here, all living entities at an equal level, being in a spirit of renunciation, being renounced with this world. And so we need to make a plan on how we can come to that level, because sometimes when we might read this, it might be too far out to see every living entity as spiritual, whether it be a brahmana or a dog or a hog, and offer them respects, being renounced, being in the mode of goodness. It's difficult for a new person, when they read this, they might feel intimidated. How will I come to this stage? I'm just holding myself here just to stay in devotional association by chanting my rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles. And that's why we need to have a plan, we need to have a program on how we can run the marathon. Just like we make so many plans in life, we make career plans in terms of where we want to be at a certain phase in life. We want to be earning certain amount of money, have a certain designation, so on and so forth. We make financial plans, want to have this much savings, want to save some for retirement, want to save some for my leisure, travels and whatnot. You make relationship plans, who I'm going to be associating with, who I want to be with, either this weekend or for the rest of my life, as the degraded Kali Yuga society has been. And so we all make plans in our life, but when it comes to our spiritual life, we kind of shy away from really analyzing and strategizing how we can make our lifestyle in such a way that we can go for the long run. And so over here we are seeing Krishna is directly presenting his program on how one can plan out their bhakti career so that they can make swift advancement in Krishna consciousness. And that is one of the many miraculous contributions of Srila Prabhupada, is that he has already given us everything that is there in the Shastras, that is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, by putting together the temple program. He has taken the essence of all the Vedic literatures and presented to us a very personalized way that we can go throughout our day by following these temple programs from morning till evening, and make advancement in our spiritual life. And that's why when you come to any of our temples in ISKCON, they are just very different in terms of the engagement, in terms of the association, the energy, compared to if you go to any other temple. Because, more often than not, temples have become just centers, facilities for earning livelihood. And so when somebody walks into one of our temples, they see engagement, they see activities, they see chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, they see classes going on, they see so many different activities going on. But you go to any other temple, just kind of wake and you just go in front of the altar and put some money and you just pray for some prosperity, for some material success, and then off you go. So I remember back in India, my parents would drag me to different places and they would go there on their own kind of pilgrimage, where they'll go to different temples and of course make sure the temple is secondary priority, but the sightseeing and the places that needs to be visited for those places are visited. So we'll just go from one temple to another, and it will just be mechanical. You just go in, pay obeisances, pay respects, you go in front of the altar, and you pray or whatever you ask for, then put some money, and then off you go. But when you come to one of Prabhupada's facilities, you just see that dynamic activity going on. And that's why we should really appreciate being able to have these centers, these facilities where we can just plug in, and we are rest assured we'll make advancement in our spiritual life. It's not that we have to reinvent the wheel and make our own program and figure out what to do, how to make my bhakti life more potent and more dynamic. Just by plugging into Prabhupada's temple program, we can make great advancement. And we should all take advantage of it, especially for those who are living next to the temple. In fact, Prabhupada twice in a letter mentioned this program, mentioned this point, that devotees who are living in the temple facilities, they should engage in these programs and in activities. I'll just quote what Prabhupada says in the letter. This is a letter in 1974 to one devotee named Jayatirtha. Prabhupada says, concerning how to induce grihasthas to take part in Krishna conscious activities rather than in activities of Maya, it is very simple. They should attend the temple program rigidly. Morning arti, classes, sankirtan. We have given houses with the purpose to execute devotional service, exactly like the brahmacharis and sannyasis. Otherwise, why purchase house near the temple? The whole idea is to live near the temple and take advantage of the temple program. So we should all feel that fortune that we have this facility of being right next to the temple, and we can just plug in, we can just go anytime during the day, and we can engage in devotional service. And so, as Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, that in our initial stage, in our beginning stage of making advancement in Krishna consciousness, we see our devotional activities as something that we do it as a chore, as a routine, as a duty, just because we have to do it, so we do it. And that's actually good, because as we stay in that practice of Vaidhi Bhakti, that we follow the regulative principles, we do devotional service under guidance of seniors, then we will eventually come to that platform of spontaneous devotional service. Just like the Prabhupada would often give this example of someone suffering from jaundice. When you have jaundice, your eyes turns yellow and you can't really taste any sweetness in any sweet substances. And so the cure to the disease is intaking sugarcane juice, the essence of all sweet substances. And the more you take the sugarcane juice, the more you are able to eventually come back to your healthy state of tasting the sweetness. And so similarly, in our beginning stage, we might take it as an obligation, as a chore, as a routine of chanting our rounds and coming to the temple and seeing the deities, offering obeisances. And sometimes because of lack of proper association or guidance, we might start to take it as just some material, mundane activity. Seeing the same deities every day and chanting the same mantra, associating with the same devotees. Surely, in the beginning, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we find every devotee as very effulgent. We have this pure devotee syndrome that, yes, every devotee is great, advanced, shining. But as years goes by, we start to become familiar. And as they say, familiarity brings contempt. So we should be on guard with these weeds in our endeavor to grow the bhakti creeper, the bhakti lata bij. And as we make our advancement by following the regulative principles and doing our spiritual activities even in the form of a duty, as a matter of routine, we will eventually make our advancement where we will start to develop attachment to our practices. We'll start to become attached to chanting Hare Krishna. As Prabhupada would say, why chant only 16 rounds? Why not more? And that is attachment to Krishna. When we become attached to our devotional activities, when we become attached to seeing the deities in the temple every day, when we become attached to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day, when we become attached to hearing the Hare Krishna mantra, that means we are becoming attached to Krishna. Then we come to the stage of Raga Bhakti. And then more advancement we make by avoiding the offenses in chanting Hare Krishna and by associating with devotees properly, then we come to the stage of Prema Bhakti. And so we cannot really
fake our advancement. We cannot really fake it till you make it in the game of bhakti career. We have to follow Krishna's program. And Krishna has very amazingly given his personalized psychological treatment for conditioned souls. So over here in this verse, we see that there is the behavioral aspect of our practice, where we come to the temple, we pay obeisances to the deity, we see the deity, we touch the lotus feet, we offer paraphernalia to the deity, we offer prayers. So there is behavioral component, we use our senses. And then there is the cognitive component, where we change our mindset we align our mindset in the proper way, as Srimad Bhagavatam is stating here, that we should be in that spirit of renunciation. We should cultivate more of goodness and see all living entities as spiritual, as part and parcel of Krishna. And so, if either of those aspects are missing, then there will be a problem, because if we are doing our devotional activities but we don't have the right attitude, we don't have the right consciousness, then it just becomes mechanical, it becomes ritualistic. And although we might be chanting our rounds and attending the temple program, but if we don't have that right consciousness, or as they say, we don't have the right mood, then we wouldn't really be able to make much advancement. In psychology, they call it cognitive dissonance, where your actions don't really align with your values. So although you are doing all these activities, but then you question, why am I not making advancement? Why I don't have any attachment to chanting Hare Krishna or to devotional activities? Just like in America, there are more than 50%, or actually it's 68% of Americans, they consider themselves religious, and they would go to church or mosque or any of these religious facilities. But shockingly, 97% of Americans eat meat. And so right over there you see that dissonance, where the actions and the values are just far apart. And so we want to be careful in aligning our values, aligning our consciousness with our actions, so that we can make authentic advancement in our devotional life, and we don't just try to fake it till you make it just by doing things externally, by superficially just engaging in activities. And in the purport itself, Prabhupada gives the key how we can do that, how we can align our consciousness with the consciousness that Bhagavatam is presenting, the standard. And the key to making that advancement is by choosing the right association, by having the right kind of people that we are hanging out with. And association is very crucial in our bhakti development. Just like when we want to make any advancement in material affairs, we are very careful to associate with the people who have the same desires and same intensity. If you are going to college, you don't want to be around people who are lazy, who don't do their assignments, who are not so much motivated about getting a job, and they're just like floating in their educational endeavors. You want to be one with individuals who are gung-ho and who are fired up to, yes, you need to get a job, get good grades and whatnot. And similarly in your career or in any other aspect in our life, we associate with people that we want to be with or we want to be like. And so similarly, if we want to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, we need to choose the right association, we need to choose the right associates. And of course it takes some maturity and some guidance, of course, to understand how we can take association of devotees who are advanced, who are enthusiastic, while at the same time respecting the devotees who still want to pursue their material aspirations, who still want to kind of give another shot to material life. And just like we were hearing the other day from Rigupati Prabhu, that there are different grades of devotional service in terms of purity. One can have different aspirations even on the perfect plane of either going back to Godhead or doing service just for the pleasure of Krishna. And so similarly, there are different grades of Vaishnavas, and as we mature, we are able to see the different levels of devotees. Remember this pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita where devotees from different parts of India would come to see Mahaprabhu every year for Jagannath Puri. And so one time, the inhabitants of Kulinagram, one of the devotees asked Mahaprabhu, who is actually a Vaishnava? And so when this devotee asked Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu said, anyone who chants the name of Krishna once is a Vaishnava. And then the devotee left. Next year, this devotee from Kulinagram again visited Mahaprabhu and he asked the same question, who is actually a Vaishnava? And Mahaprabhu this time said, a person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava. And so then the devotee heard that and then went and then came next year and asked the same question. And this time Mahaprabhu said, a first-class Vaishnava is he whose very presence makes others chant the holy name of Krishna. And so Mahaprabhu himself is giving us the different grades of devotees and how we can shape our aspirations, how we can shape our bhakti desire so we can come to that level while at the same time respecting the devotees, respecting individuals who have chanted Hare Krishna even once. It's like when we go to Rath Yatra, people on the streets, they are chanting Hare Krishna and they are Vaishnavas because they have chanted Hare Krishna according to Mahaprabhu. But we wouldn't really want to take their association because of their lifestyle, because of their activities. And so, just one in this narration in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the purport, Prabhupada gives a description of what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. And he says, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that any Vaishnava who is constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord should be considered to have attained the second platform of Vaishnavism. Such a devotee is superior to a neophyte Vaishnava who has just learned to chant the holy name of the Lord. A neophyte devotee simply tries to chant the holy name, whereas the advanced devotee is accustomed to chanting and takes pleasure in it. Such an advanced devotee is called mad-bhāvanayā, which indicates that he has attained the intermediate stage between the neophyte and the perfect devotee. Generally, a devotee in the intermediate stage becomes a preacher. And so, we should aspire to slowly make our way up from neophyte stage to the intermediate stage where we can become attached to chanting Hare Krishna by being in the right association, by taking guidance, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And of course it will take patience, because it's not that overnight we will make all our advancement and we'll become pure devotees, overnight. We have to be patient in our execution of devotional service. As Nectar of Instruction says in the third verse itself, utsaha-nishtaya-dharya. We need to have patience, and at the same time we need to have that confidence that, as Prabhupada is saying, Krishna will take care of me. Krishna will help me in making advancement in devotional life. So we should not be influenced and manipulated by today's so-called society where instant gratification is prominent, where we want to just get things right away. We should understand that it will take time, just like in material activities. If somebody goes through the painstaking process of entering a job and starting somewhere mid-level and eventually after 20-30 years make their way high up in the executive level, we say, wow, you did amazing, you did great, you came on the top boards or CEO or whatnot. But when it comes to our bhakti career, we become very lazy and discouraged that, 20-30 years, why can't it be done in a month or something? And so when we have that patience and confidence under good association and guidance, we can plan out our bhakti career and make swift advancement in our Krishna consciousness. And with that, we'll stop here and see if there are any comments or corrections by senior devotees. Yes, Rabindranath Prabhu.
Yeah, you mentioned mentioned about faking it till you make it. I also heard it said that if you're not enthusiastic, then act enthusiastically and then you'll become enthusiastic. So how do you understand both things?
Yeah, enthusiasm is actually contagious, that when you associate with devotees who are also enthusiastic, whose enthusiasm is deep. It's not something that they are just faking it. They're actually enthusiastic based on knowledge. Their foundation of understanding and realized to some degree the value of bhakti yoga, the value of Krishna consciousness in their life, then that enthusiasm is genuine. You can't really again fake enthusiasm, because it will just fade off. But when we have enthusiasm founded on knowledge, then that enthusiasm will last longer. It will stay with us for a long time. And then when others associate with those individuals who are generally enthusiastic, then they also take on to their contagious energy, and they also feel that enthusiasm. And so that's why associating with genuine devotees makes a lot of difference. I hope that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.